Oh, let's go. Yes. G'day, welcome to Fishing. Michael Guest here to have a bit of a chat about how to catch a flathead on a lure. Now, there's three key lures that you can use. In the deeper water and rolling back, I like to use vibes. So this forktail vibe's absolutely perfect. This one's called a shimmer fork. Of course, we've got the paddle tail, which is just fantastic. So lots of vibration, wriggling away there. You can use it in all depths of water. And then the old curly tail soft plastic. This one here is just a beauty. This is a 5-inch power grub, and this is the 4-inch paddle shad. So they're my three lures. So what we're going to do today is try and catch a flathead. That's going to be our goal. So what we'll do is, I reckon we'll start and we'll use the paddle shad. I've got patchy sand and weed around me here, and then it drops off into some deeper water. So we'll have a look in the shallows first, and we'll have a go with the paddle shad. As far as gear goes, I've got a couple of rods with me. This one's a 2 to 4. I've also got a 3 to 5 kilo rod. So anywhere in that 2 to 4, 3 to 5. High modulus, got a nice sensitive tip, but then they power up really well so you can feel what that lure's doing. They've got enough power in there to use different jig head weights so that you can really make that lure come alive, and that's what it's all about. We're trying to replicate a bait fish. Certainly with these lures, it's more about trying to look like a small bait fish that the flathead are going to feed on. Little 2,500 size spin reel, some 8-pound Berkeley X9 braid, so that X9 braid, and then some 10-pound fluorocarbon. I've joined this with an FG knot. You could use a double uni knot, but you definitely, you'll find an advantage using fluorocarbon, there's no doubt about that. I think we will use the paddle shad to start with. I love paddle-tailed lures. They punch that vibration out. These ones swim so beautifully. They've got a really good body roll. And in this part of the world, potty mullet, around that size are pretty prevalent, so that's what we're trying to copy, and it's about matching the hatch wherever you can. In the shallows, we'll use some 2/08 or 1/6 of an ounce jig heads with that 2/0 hook. If we go down a bit deeper later, if I can't catch one in here, we'll go to a 3/8 of an ounce and get into sort of more that 7 metres of water. There's a bit of a bump out further. I might try that if I don't do any good in closer here. Let's have a look at how we need to rig that soft plastic up and start casting. Let's rig one of these 4-inch paddle shads. I'm going to go with the golden black. I like that dark back and that gold belly. It's the gold formula, so it's got fantastic scent dispersion. So not only does it look great, but also smells great. And that can be the difference between having one of those fish that's thinking about eating your lure and absolutely committing to it, and then of course catching it. So let's rig it. Super important that you get that soft plastic rig straight. Have a look where your jig head's going to line up with the soft plastic, and I can see where that's going to come out. Really simple trick is just to put a little scratch in the back of it. I've rigged enough of them so I sort of know where it's going to come out, but I'd put that little scratch there. This is a 1/4 ounce 2/0, as I said. So when you line it up to start with, make sure you get that hook right in the center of the lure. If you start off to one side, it's not going to come out the way you want it to. We want it to look really natural in the water. So then make sure you slide that hook down nice and straight so that we come out in the center of the back of the lure. So that doesn't look quite right to me. It's not. We've got to now push it up onto the grub keeper. So we'll slide that around, push it up onto those grub keepers, and hard up against the jig head. And there we have it. Beautiful hook exposure, that's what we want. That paddle tail action, and we're going to swim that. Start off around these weed beds and sand holes. No good there, we'll go out a little bit deeper. Now this is a great looking spot. I've got a big deep drop off here. There's a couple of old timber snags, some weed beds up here. Flathead love structure. They don't just live out in the open sand. You will see the odd one there, but try and get your casts right in wherever that structure is, as close as you can. That's where the bait fish are going to be hanging out. They love a bit of cover to ambush their prey. I'm going to head up here and have a drift down. That's the spot right in there. Now when it comes to a retrieve with a 4-inch paddle shad like this, don't be afraid to be quite aggressive. We've got that 1/4 ounce jig head. Those lures swim down so well. So as that lure's sinking, it's swimming down. Make it touch the bottom. That's where the flathead are. They're laying in amongst that structure right down deep. Quite often they're buried in the sand and the gravel and the weed, and that's where they're hanging out. So your lure has got to be in that zone to get the bite. As the water temperature drops, different times of the year, their metabolism will slow down, then you need to slow your action down. And the great thing with a lure like that, it's got that fantastic body roll, so you can also just do a cast where you fire it out, punch it up current, always casting back up into the current, and working the lure with the direction of the tide, because that's the way the flathead are laying. So you're bringing the lure into them head first. That's really important. And then you can just do a bit of a lift and a fall and a roll. And then when the water's warmer, give it a good rip. Pause, let it sink to the bottom, give it another good rip. That acceleration is the thing that'll really get the bite. Plus, in this case, we've got that fantastic scent dispersion from the gulp as well. Yes, 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 come on. Oh, it's got a bit of weight about it. That's what we're looking for. And you can usually tell when it's a better fish because it has that sort of big lazy lay on. So I reckon, just feeling the weight, that fish has come and grabbed that paddle tail. I'm not doing a lot at the moment. I can, oh, there it goes. I can feel the weight of that fish, and that's what we want. So went to that slightly bigger jig head. We're working those edges, those sort of shallow sandy weed beds there earlier. Didn't see a lot of fish scooting around, so I've come out a little bit wider trying to find a flathead, and that's about it. Oh, and this is a nice looking fish actually. I've got it up to the top here now, see if I can get it in the net. Oh, let's go. Yes. All right, that's the go. That's a big female flathead right there. Just pop that lure out and I'll carefully pick this beautiful big female fish up. So I'm not going to put my hand inside there. Normally I'd have one of those black gloves on to grip in there, but pretty safe to do that at the moment. She's actually behaving herself really well, this fish. Got those big spikes on the back, so be really careful of those spikes. They seriously do hurt and you'll bleed for a while if you get done with those. As I said, this is a female, so certainly going to let this fish go. Anything over 58 centimetres in these dusky flathead is going to be a female. It's going to be a breeder, so I always tend to let those fish go. Keep those ones around 45, 50 if you want a couple to eat, and let the big ones swim off and play for another day. But as I said, in that deeper water, vibes are really good. Paddle tail or curly tail soft plastics really do the job, and in this case it was the mighty 4-inch paddle shad. One of the great things about catching a beautiful big female flathead like that is watching it swim off, and hopefully I might even tangle with this one another day. All right, off you go.